Apple fans, Apple sheep, and anyone else out there watching, Richard here with iTalk, and we're on location in Dayton, Ohio. And this episode is all about the Apple car, and it's coming up right after the intro.
This is iTalk.
A century ago, not only was there stiff competition between new car makers and a fledgling automobile industry, but a raging competition surrounding just how this infant industry would power these new vehicles for personal transportation. Internal combustion versus electric. Well, it's no secret who won that war. Or maybe just a century-long battle. It seems the writing is on the wall. The days of the internal combustion engine are clearly numbered. Oh, several years or a few decades, who knows? But electric vehicles will win the war. A century ago, part of that battle was waged right here in Dayton, Ohio. Two small startup car companies were born here, one electric, one internal combustion. A century ago, long before this site where we stand was a parking lot, sat the home of, yes, the Apple Car Company. From 1915 to 1917, it produced its only model, the Apple 8, that sold for $1,150, around $30,000 today. It was a 44 horsepower internal combustion engine automobile that lasted only a few years before the company went bankrupt. And now it's on to the next site. The other was the Dayton Electric Car Company. The Dayton Electric, as it was known, was manufactured in a factory that looked much like this building right here behind us that just happens to be Dayton City Hall. Unfortunately, we couldn't find the actual building that housed the Dayton Electric factory, and we're not even sure if it still exists. Anyway, the Dayton Electric was capable of speeds up to 22 miles per hour, pretty impressive for the time. Remarkably impressive for a century ago, though, was its range on a single charge. 100 miles, astonishing for 1915. That breathtakingly gracious machine would set you back $2,000 to $2,600, around $52,000 to $67,000 today, depending on options. What options, you might ask? Well, it wasn't AM, FM, or air conditioning, or a CD player, or Bluetooth. Options included a roof, 2-passenger and 4-passenger options, and an optional windshield. Though these two companies are long since defunct and only two of countless car brands that have come and gone, they, along with many others, are eternally and undeniably connected and critical in the evolutionary development and rich tapestry of our love affair with the automobile today. Now it's back to the studio and back to the future, to the 21st century and today's Apple car. Hey everyone, Richard here with iTalk. We are back in studio. I hope you enjoyed our little brief tour of Dayton and our little history lesson, but now it's all about the Apple car. The idea of an Apple car was actually conceived way back in 2008 by none other than Steve Jobs. So now let's take a look at the Apple car timeline. In 2008, talks first surfaced at Apple of building a car. Steve Jobs considered the idea but ultimately decided to focus on the iPhone. So for the time being, the Apple car was scrapped. Fast forward to 2014 and 2015, the project was rumored to be resurrected when Tim Cook allegedly approved the project in late 2014. It was known internally as Project Titan and was assigned to former Ford engineer Steve Zadesky to be project in charge. It was approved for a staff of around 1,000 employees. In August of 2015, The Guardian reported that Apple was meeting with officials at Gomentum Station, a testing ground for connected and autonomous vehicles at what was the former Concord Naval Weapons Station in Concord, California. In September of that same year, Apple was reported to be meeting with self-driving experts from the California DMV. Also, the Wall Street Journal reported that Apple was working on a battery-powered electric vehicle, initially lacking full autonomous capabilities, with possible unveiling in 2019. Well, we know how that panned out, or rather didn't. In October, Tim Cook is quoted as saying, "It would seem like there will be a massive change in that industry. massive change. You may not agree with that. That's what I think. We'll see what we do in the future. I do think the industry is at an inflection point for massive change, unquote. In November, a company called 68 Research, a suspected shell company for Apple, attended an auto body conference in Europe. Also, after EV startup Faraday Future announced a $1 billion U.S. factory project, rampant speculation swirled that this too might be a front for Apple's secret EV project. Moving right along to 2016, Elon Musk stated about Apple getting into the EV market.
Well, it's pretty hard to hide something if you hire over 1,000 engineers to do it. This is an open secret.
He went on later to say that Apple will probably make a compelling EV and welcome the competition.
Encourage more participation by whoever it is to create electric vehicles.
And further said later,
I think it's great that they're doing this, and I think they should have embarked upon this project sooner, actually.
In July of that year, the Wall Street Journal reported that Apple convinced retired senior hardware engineering executive Bob Mansfield to return and take over the lead over Project Titan. Zadesky apparently fell out of favor at Cook's Royal Court. Also in July 2016, Bloomberg Tech reported that Apple had hired Dan Dodge, founder and former CEO of BlackBerry's QNX division, its automotive software division, fueling speculation that this move signaled prioritization of software creation for autonomous vehicles. In April of 2017, Apple obtains a permit from the state of California to test autonomous vehicles. In June of that year, Tim Cook, in an interview with Emily Chang of Bloomberg TV, had this to say.
We're focusing on autonomous systems. Autonomy is something that's incredibly exciting for us. We'll see where it takes us. We're not really saying from a product point of view what we will do. It's a core technology that we view as very important.
Leading to further speculation about Apple's role in these converging shifts in the industry: autonomous systems, EVs, and ride-sharing services. Moving right along to 2018, in January, Apple registered 27 self-driving vehicles with the California DMV. And in May, the New York Times reported that while potential partnerships with multiple other automakers failed to materialize, Apple secured a partnership agreement with Volkswagen to produce an autonomous shuttle van for a project called PALE to shuttle Apple employees from the Palo Alto campus to Infinite Loop. Later that same year, Apple hired Doug Field, former senior VP of engineering at Tesla, to head up Project Titan. In January 2019, Apple laid off over 200 members of the Project Titan autonomous vehicle team, leading to an array of speculative hysteria regarding the direction of the project. In June of that year, Apple acquired autonomous vehicle startup Drive.ai. And just recently, in December 2020, Bloomberg reported that Apple AI lead John Giannandrea takes over as lead of Apple Car development with the retirement of Bob Mansfield. And this year, in January 2021, CNBC and Reuters report that Hyundai released a statement that they are in discussions with Apple to jointly develop and produce self-driving electric vehicles. Now, Apple is quite well known for keeping its product plans under tight wraps. But now that the secret is not so secret anymore, and let's be honest, it's been one of the worst kept secrets in the history of secrets, and to keep calling it a secret is, well, secretly, senselessly screwy. But anyway, I digress. So when can we allegedly expect to see an alleged Apple car, allegedly? Since the inception of Project Titan, when an Apple car was merely a glimmer in Tim Cook's eyes, the on-again, off-again relationship allegedly appears to be full steam ahead. Reuters reported in December of last year that Apple seems to have progressed enough with the Titan project that it now has plans to build an electric vehicle for the mass consumer market. According to sources familiar with the project, the secret project, since it isn't known to the public, so please don't tell anyone about the rumored Project Titan because, well, you know, it's a secret. And all that being said, and now that we know the worst kept secret is really out, what are some of the obstacles to Apple's electric vehicle and EVs in general becoming the standard and essentially replacing the internal combustion engine? There are multiple rate-limiting issues through the first century of automobiles with electric. First, power, and this one really essentially I think has been resolved. But for most of the last century, internal combustion engines have been more powerful, reliable, and simpler. The next big problem is range. Battery and electric-powered vehicles have much shorter ranges, relegating them to simply being short-trip commuter vehicles such as for work. You can't just pop in an EV and take your family on one of those wonderful cross-country trips. Not only does range limit longer driving distances and road trips, there are significant infrastructure issues. The lack of ubiquitous charging stations along freeway routes makes it quite difficult to recharge and just get on your way on those long trips. Furthermore, even if there were readily available charging stations, it takes forever to recharge the battery. You can stop at a gas station, fill up your tank in about 3 to 5 minutes, and be on your merry little way. Charging a battery isn't so simple. Well, it's simple, but it's incredibly, painfully, monotonously slow. Even with level 2 charging, adding about 25 miles driving distance takes about an hour's worth of charging, making a road trip untenable at best, and for all practical purposes, nearly impossible. Until these and other factors are resolved, EVs will likely remain more attractive to short-distance commuter drivers. However, things are changing, and in time, maybe over the next few years or even decades, the tide will turn, the infrastructure will be in place, battery and charging technology will dramatically improve, and EVs will be able to travel at least as far on a charge as it would on a tank of gas. And recharging will take a mere few minutes, similar to filling up the gas tank instead of hours. Apple is currently working on what's being hailed as a, quote, next-level battery. It's currently rumored to be a lithium iron phosphate monocell design that bulks up individual cells in the battery and frees up space inside the battery pack by eliminating pouches and modules that hold battery materials. This means that more active material can be packed inside the battery, increasing driving range and potentially substantially. Another advantage of this design in using the LFP chemical composition is safety. LFPs are significantly less likely to overheat than standard lithium-ion batteries. LFP batteries do have some distinct disadvantages, though, when compared to nickel-based batteries. Nickel-based batteries typically have a longer life, charge faster, and are lighter, but they're much more expensive and potentially much more hazardous. There are many types of lithium-ion batteries with varying chemical compositions that have some advantages over LFP, but for now, safety and cost wins out, and the LFP appears to be the choice. Finally, a few more things remain unclear. Who will assemble it? Where? Who will be suppliers? How many suppliers will be needed? How will supply be coordinated with production? Coordinating the supply chain will undoubtedly be a massively complex undertaking. Which components will be outsourced? Which components will be made in-house at Apple? Will it be completely self-driving from the very first model or partially autonomous with future plans for a completely autonomous vehicle? LiDAR will almost certainly be an integral part of the autonomous software for obvious safety reasons. How will the LiDAR sensors be physically integrated in the vehicle? How many will be needed to make the self-driving system safe? How will fail-safe redundancy systems be incorporated into the software? What kinds of safety warnings will be in place to allow a driver to take manual control? And there are a litany of other questions to be considered and problems to be solved as well. Recent reports declared a potential announcement this fall in 2021. However, given the state of the project, to say that appears highly unlikely would be an understatement of epic Project Titanic proportions. Reliable Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo warns that more realistic estimates are conservatively 2025 and could even be well into 2026 or 2027. So, what explains the setbacks, walkbacks, and waffling delays? I think Steve Jobs, in his infinite wisdom and mad genius, said it best.
We can't do it. We just can't ship junk.
Where do you think all of this is going? Do you think Apple is even working on its own car? Or is it going to stick to autonomous software and partner with an established automaker? And if Apple does make its own car, what do you think it's going to look like? Will it look like most of the cars that are out on the road now, or will it be some mind-blowing, futuristic, wow, something we've never seen before? Well, that's it for this iTalk video where we explored the latest in Apple car rumors, allegations, and hype. We hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like, pound that subscribe, hit the bell, leave us a comment, and share, share, share. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Richard. This is iTalk. Until the next one, we are out. That Apple had hired Dan Jodge. Dan Jodge? Who's Dan Jodge? That Apple AI lead John Gianandrea, sounds good. I know I just butchered that name. There are multiple rate limiting issues. Oh, will it look like? It says well.